Hey everyone, welcome back to our IGCSE Biology Revision Series. Today we are diving into Chapter 13, Excretion in Humans. This is a crucial topic that explains how your body gets rid of metabolic waste products to keep you alive and healthy. We will be covering everything from what excretion actually is to the detailed structure of your kidney and how it filters your blood. So let's get started. First, let's define excretion. Excretion is the removal of waste substances from metabolic reactions, toxic materials, and substances in excess of requirements from the body. This is not the same as digestion, as we learned in Chapter 7, which is the removal of undigested food from the gut. This is a common misconception by students. They think excretion is the same as digestion, but in biological terms, they are not. Next up, let's look at why excretion is important. Your cells are constantly carrying out metabolic reactions to keep you alive. These reactions produce waste products that can be toxic if they build up. For example, carbon dioxide is produced during respiration. If the carbon dioxide concentration accumulates, it dissolves in water to form an acidic solution, which lowers the pH of cells. This reduced pH can decrease enzyme activity, which is essential for controlling metabolic reactions. Hence, too much of carbon dioxide is toxic. There are three key substances that must be excreted from a human body. The first is the carbon dioxide, as we discussed. It's produced during respiration and excreted through the lungs when we breathe out. The second one is urea. This is a nitrogenous waste product formed by the breakdown of excess amino acids in the liver, which is excreted by the kidneys. Lastly, we have the excess water and ions. These are filtered from the blood by the kidneys and excreted as urine. Now let's look at the human excretory system, the kidneys. The main organs and the structures include the kidneys. You have two kidneys. These are bean-shaped organs located at the back of the abdomen. They are the main organs of excretion and are responsible for filtering the blood. The renal artery is a blood vessel which brings oxygenated blood containing urea and other waste products to the kidneys from the aorta. The renal vein is the blood vessel which carries filtered deoxygenated blood away from the kidneys back to the vena cava. Next, we have the ureters. These are tubes that carry urine from each kidney to the bladder. There are two ureters, one from each kidney. The bladder. This is a muscular bag that stores urine temporarily until you are ready to urinate. We have the urethra, the last one of your excretory system. This is a tube that carries urine from the bladder to outside the body during urination. Here's a key point. Don't confuse between the ureter and the urethra. Remember, ureter goes to the bladder and urethra goes through to outside of the body. Having talked about the important parts of the human excretory system, let's delve into the kidney. If we cut a kidney in half lengthwise, we can see its internal structure. The kidney has three main regions: the cortex, the medulla, and the pelvis. The cortex is the outer region of the kidney. It contains the start of the nephrons, which are the functional units of the kidney. The second part is the medulla. This is the inner region of the kidney where the loops of the nephrons extend down into. Lastly, we have the pelvis. This is the more innermost part where urine collects before flowing into the ureter. Each kidney contains approximately 1 million tiny structures called nephrons, also known as kidney tubules or renal tubules. These are where the actual filtration happens. The nephrons start in the cortex, loop down into the medulla, and then back up into the cortex before draining into the pelvis. Having talked about the internal kidney structure and the importance of the nephron, let's explore the nephron in detail because this is where the magic happens. Some of the key features of the nephrons include the glomerulus. This is a knot or a tangle of capillaries at the start of the nephron. Arterioles branch off from the renal artery and form the network of the capillaries. The second part is the Bowman's capsule. This is a cup-shaped structure that surrounds the glomerulus and collects the filtrate. The proximal convoluted tubule is the first coil section after the Bowman's capsule. The loop of Henle. This is a loop which goes down the medulla and back up. The distal convoluted tubule is the second coil section. The collecting duct carries the remaining fluid, now called urine, towards the pelvis of the kidney and into the ureter. Now, let's dive into the actual process of urine formation. Step 1 is the ultrafiltration, which happens in the glomerulus and the Bowman's capsule. Blood enters the glomerulus under high pressure because it comes directly from the renal artery, which is connected to the aorta. The capillaries get narrower as they go deeper into the glomerulus. This high pressure forces some molecules out of the capillaries and into the Bowman's capsule. This process is called ultrafiltration. So what are the actual products which are filtered out? They are the glucose, water, urea, and salts. What stays in the blood are the large molecules like proteins and blood cells. The mixture of small molecules that passes into the Bowman's capsule is called the glomerular filtrate. Step 2 is selective reabsorption, which happens in the proximal convoluted tubule. Not everything that gets filtered out should be lost. For example, your body needs to keep useful substances such as glucose. This is where selective reabsorption occurs. In the proximal convoluted tubule, all glucose is reabsorbed back into the blood by active transport. This process requires energy from mitochondria, which is why this part of the nephron has many mitochondria. Most of the water molecules is reabsorbed by osmosis and many ions are also reabsorbed by active transport. Here's an important note. Glucose reabsorption can only happen here because the special protein gates needed for active transport, also known as the protein carriers, for active transport are found here at the proximal convoluted tubule. If someone has diabetes, their blood glucose is very high. Not all glucose can be reabsorbed, so it appears in the urine. And this is why doctors test urine for glucose to diagnose diabetes. Step 3 is the water reabsorption, which happens in the collecting duct and the distal convoluted tubule. More water can be absorbed in the collecting duct, but the amount depends on the body's needs. This is controlled by a hormone called ADH, which is not required by the syllabus, but good to know. Step 4 is the formation of urine. So what's left in the collecting duct is finally urine, which contains urea, the excess water, and excess ions. And the urine flows into the pelvis of the kidney, then down the ureter to the bladder for storage. We have talked about all the topics under the human excretory system. You might be wondering now, where does urea come from? It's produced in the liver through a process called deamination. When you eat proteins, it digested into amino acids. Your body uses these amino acids to build new proteins for growth and repair. However, some amino acids, which are in excess, cannot be stored like fats or carbohydrates. Any excess amino acids must be broken down. And this is where the process of deamination by the liver comes into action. In the liver, enzymes break down these excess amino acids and remove the carbon containing part from the nitrogen containing part. And the carbon containing part is converted into glycogen and is stored in the liver for to be used as energy in future. The nitrogen containing part, the amino group, is removed and converted into ammonia. Why do we convert ammonia into urea instead of ammonia directly going into the excretory system and filtering it out? You see, ammonia is highly toxic to cells. The liver immediately converts these ammonia molecules into urea, which is much less toxic and can be safely transported in the blood to the kidneys for excretion. So the pathway here will be excess amino acids is converted by the deamination process in the liver into ammonia and then to urea, which is then transported to the kidneys and excreted in urine. Here's something interesting you might want to know. We talked about kidneys and their importance in the human excretory system. But what happens if the kidney fails? Sometimes kidneys can stop also working properly due to disease or damage. This is serious because toxic wastes like urea build up in the blood, which can be fatal. Humans can survive with one functioning kidney, but if both fail, treatment is essential. So, the first treatment option is to go for dialysis. Kidney dialysis involves using a machine to do the work of the kidneys, that is, filtering the blood. How dialysis works? It's similar to the kidneys. Blood is taken from an artery in the patient's arm. The blood flows through the dialysis machine. Inside the machine, blood and dialysis fluid are separated by a partially permeable membrane, similar to a kidney. The blood and dialysis fluid flow in opposite directions. The dialysis fluid contains no urea, so urea diffuses out of the blood down its concentration gradient, and it contains normal glucose concentration, so there is no net movement of glucose, and normal ion concentration, so excess ions diffuse out. After the filtration, the urea is removed, water and ion balance is restored, and clean blood returns to the vein in the patient's arm. Some disadvantages of dialysis is that it's very time consuming. A patient has to go for 3 to 4 hours each day and 2 to 3 times per week. It is expensive and the patient should follow a limited diet between sessions. And it is also a temporary solution. So you might be thinking, what's the permanent solution to this kidney failure? Yes, and there is a treatment for that. Kidney transplant. A kidney transplant involves surgically replacing a failed kidney with a healthy donor kidney. The advantages of transplants is that it has a long-term solution to kidney failure and patients have more freedom and do not need to come for dialysis appointments regularly. And in the long run, it is also cheaper than going a dialysis. And that's everything you need to know about excretion in humans for IGCSE biology. Understanding how your kidneys work is not just important for your exams, but it also helps you appreciate one of the most vital processes keeping you alive right now. If you found this video helpful, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe for more IGCSE content in our channel. We are working through the entire syllabus, so hit the notification bell so you don't miss any uploads. Drop a comment below if you have any questions about this chapter. Coming up next, we will be tackling Chapter 14, Coordination and Response, where we will explore the nervous system and hormones. You won't want to miss that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.